Look, she might be viewing this podcast, and you might
you're viewing this,
connecting with her right now.
If you're viewing this, I'm not going to say her name. Maybe we can bleep it out. No, if you're viewing this, no hard feelings. Obviously, I mean, you did what you have to do. Maybe you didn't vibe with someone that makes content, or you thought I was a fuckboy. But I just want to know why.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
The Lebbie podcast is the best podcast in the area, and you can't change my mind.
Something's different today, man. Have you noticed something different about me that's different?
I think man's joined the club.
I've joined the hat club. Look, to be honest, my hairline is not fading away like yourself. I don't look like I need to go Turkey next week.
Look, I might have seen a comment or two on the last live saying someone's hair's receding, but that's none of my business.
No one said my hair's receding, all right? I did notice it when I was at the hairdresser last.
Someone said it.
I noticed it when I was at the hairdresser last, and then she looked at this part of my hair, and there's one certain part of my hair that's literally I don't know if you guys, I don't even want to show it, but it's receding a bit. But that's not the reason I'm wearing a hat today. The reason I'm wearing a hat today is because I haven't had a fade in about 8 days. 8 days I haven't had a fade.
I got faded recently.
You got faded 2 days ago or yesterday.
Yeah, mate.
I haven't had time to have a fade in 8 days. That is bad for a Lebbo. 8 days without a fade is bad for a Lebbo.
Can you stop eating the mic, please?
But I'm telling you, 8 days without without a fade is very bad for a Lebbo.
8 days without a fade for a Lebbo is
I'm convinced all our money. I'm convinced barbers make money just from Lebbos. I'm being dead set. I'm not even joking here.
We pay their bills. We feed their kids.
Bro, every Mo and Co you go to, every single hairdresser you see when you walk past it, 90% of the people are Lebbos. 90% of the customers.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? We like our hair.
Because the thing is, it's like a weekly maintenance thing. You know what I mean?
The minimum and average Lebbo cuts his hair is every week. Once you go past that, your Lebbo-ness becomes less, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. That's what makes us Lebbo. That's what makes us who we are. The fade, the fresh fade. Sorry to interrupt this podcast, guys, but we have a word from our proud sponsor, Manscaped. We are proudly sponsored by Manscaped, the Lebbie podcast. Obviously, today is Valentine's Day, and no one wants hairy balls on Valentine's Day. Let's just be real. No one wants hairy balls on Valentine's Day.
That's the least thing your partner wants.
We have something amazing for you today. We've got the 4.0 Manscaped, the package, the full package. So the number one product in this package is the Lawnmower 4.0, obviously. And this trimmer has the advanced skin-safe care, which basically there's no cuts. So it's a very sensitive area for guys, especially. I mean, if you're a girl, you probably don't have balls. But if you're a guy, especially...
I don't blame you if you're a girl.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2022. You don't know what to expect these days. But anyway, this has skin-safe technology. So basically, you get in the shower, wherever you want to do it. Get it done without cuts.
Don't be afraid to get down and dirty with it. All right?
Yeah. This package also includes the Weed Whacker, nose and ear hair trimmer to whack all the worst of your weeds. Even threw in 2 free gifts, there's Shed travel bag and an anti-chafing boxer. So basically you get the boxers as well.
I think
chafing, whatever.
Chaffing.
Chafing. So you get the boxers, and basically these are very comfortable, man. I've got a pair as well. They're very comfortable. They sit right. Sometimes when you have to adjust, if you're a female and you listen to this, you've got no idea what I'm talking about, unless you know a guy that's told you about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're walking and sometimes you need to adjust, how we have to do those weird movements. This undies basically adjusts it for itself. It adjusts it itself. So yeah, Manscaped created their products for a night just like this, and will make your Valentine's Day date say, "Wow, great set of balls you have there."
And don't forget to smell good, not only around your balls, but all over.
All over.
Made with their signature scent, the Manscaped Refined Cologne will complement your collection with small perfection.
Yeah, so guys, body odor, ball odor, everything, get rid of it, all right? And we have an exclusive offer for you guys today, the Lebbie listeners. So if you go to manscaped.com, obviously, use the code Lebbie at manscaped.com at checkout.
Lebbie.
You get 20% off plus free shipping. So that's 20% off plus free shipping if you use the code Lebbie at manscaped.com on the checkout. What a deal. Get on it right now. What are you waiting for? Now, let's get back to the podcast. You know what I mean? It's different. It's fucking different, man. It's hard to explain.
Anyway, these guys.
I forgot the intro. Guys, welcome back to the best podcast in the area. I'm your host, Mahmoud. This is my brother Moses. He's the co-host. I don't know why I introduced us like we're fucking main event.
I'm a main chick. All right.
No,
I'm
but
the
listen,
main
listen,
chick.
listen. obviously I want to talk about last week's podcast. We had Billy Dib on. Billy Dib, fucking obviously former IBF champion, very, very like high in the community, high regarded, great athlete. You know, he had great words of wisdom, and it shits me, man. It fucking shits me because we put a few clips, right, on TikTok and stuff like that because that boosts up the podcast. And a lot of people were sitting there and like, who's this? Who's that? Who's Billy Dib?
I can't believe that. I honestly can't believe that people within our vicinity, within our community, do not know who Billy Dib is. Like, where have you been living?
Under
like,
a
no
rock,
offense.
for sure.
Like, how do you not know a person that, like, he's the prime example of a person that came from our community and made something of himself. You know what I mean?
The sad part, that's not the sad part. The sad part, like, obviously that's the good part, but the sad part is a lot of these people, like a lot of the people that we get on this podcast, right? The initial point of this podcast, what was the initial point of this podcast? We wanted people to just get away from TikTok, have a bit of like an escape from TikTok and just come on here and listen to something that can provide them with value. That was the whole initial reason of this podcast.
Well, some of the times we talk shit, but yeah, anyway.
A lot of the times we talk shit, all right, but I'm not saying most of the time we're going to be talking about, guys, get up at 7 a.m. in the morning, go do a run.
No,
we're not going to be
that.
talking about that, but what we're going to be talking about here is we want to provide some sort of value to the community that actually needs that value. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these people that go on TikTok and watch TikTok lives and that, it's just losing their brain cells. You know what I mean? And the sad part is I wanted to bring on guests that were different. But we fell into that trap where it's like we need to get on TikTokers. We need to get on TikTokers that are involved in drama.
But that's not really our fault because the number one recommendation from people is when we ask who do you want to see on the podcast, it's always a TikToker.
And it's always Mons and Yusra.
99% of the time it's a TikToker.
But that's the thing because that people love that shit. They love feeding themselves with shit. That's the best way to put it. They love feeding themselves with shit. And it's like, what do I love and what do I love watching? They say what you consume is what you are. You are what you eat. Well, physically here, we're not eating content, but we're consuming it. I believe content is something you're consuming. It doesn't necessarily mean you're physically eating
especially
it.
TikTok.
You're consuming it in your brain.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of the people that watch these TikTokers, what are they consuming all day? It's just utter bullshit. And that's why I wanted to bring on guests like Billy Dib and people like that who can provide value, like the Bearded Athlete, like Matt, who came on and talked about his amazing suicide story. But the sad part is those podcasts are not the ones that got the views.
Yeah, but that's the sad part. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to get educated. Everyone wants to just be entertained. No one wants to get
100%.
educated.
And that's a sad part of it.
That's a pressing issue in society today. I think
But there's nothing wrong with being entertained. Like you said, everyone wants to be entertained, but there's nothing wrong with being entertained.
Yeah, but
it's what you can get out of that entertainment, right?
But being entertained by watching other people making a fool of themselves, that's
the wrong entertainment.
It's the wrong entertainment.
100%. That's the wrong entertainment because obviously people that go on there swear at other people's mums and just sit there and like just say, oh, guys, let's win this battle. Let's win this battle. That's nothing that's actually you're consuming to actually change your mindset. I like to ask people a question every single day. I'm like, what did you learn today? Is there something new that you learned today? I'll ask you, is there something new that you learned today? From the top of your head.
From the top of my head, I learned.
If you say nothing, then you should look at yourself.
I learned something. I learned communicating with people. Well,
that's one part.
I communicated with people today, and I understood, someone else's point of view. So
exactly, you understood someone else's point of view. That's what I want to bring out of this podcast. I want people to watch this podcast, and by the end of it, say, "Oh, okay, I learned that fucking that Bemuruz is the worst food for Lebanese people." No, like it's not.
Yeah, but that's good because it's encouraging debate. Because
it's encouraging debate. Like I know we talk about fucked up topics sometimes. I know we talk about topics that doesn't fucking matter.
We would make a clip that's like fucking. If you ate Bemuruz, you're a bitch.
Bro, we made a clip about people. We made a clip about people that use the AC in the car, the heater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something so bullshit, but it's still something to talk about. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that we got to come on here and teach people how to solve the radius of the sun. No, we're not. We don't want to sit here and teach people how to solve it, but we want to teach people that they can get some sort of value. Whatever value it is, it's something. You know what I mean?
And
that was the whole point of this podcast.
I think another point of the podcast is to understand and learn. I think you can learn something from everyone. I think every podcast I look at, I try and learn something from the guest.
And
every guest has a story.
A lot of the guests that we have brought on, some of them have not provided any value. And I'm not throwing shade at anyone, okay? For example, Castro. We brought on Castro. 16 years old. I am never going to throw shade at that kid because he's 16, bro. At 16, you would never even think you're going to be on a podcast.
Which
But that kid
16-year-old
provided
kid from the
value.
area gets on a podcast?
No, but that kid seriously provided value. Others not so much. Others not so much.
That's what I meant, because
I don't blame Castro. I just blame the audience that surround the people that are not even Castro, like TikTokers that are sitting there and obviously feeding bullshit to all these people, because who raises them up? Who gives them the likes? Who sends them the gifts? Who gives them the views?
us. It's
who gives them the engagement?
It's our community.
It's
you know what
sad
I mean?
because a lot of these people actually hate on these people, but they don't realize. We're from a social media background, so we understand if you hate someone, don't even like their video, don't send it to anyone, and don't comment, because what that's doing is that's providing them with engagement, and that's making them more famous while you're sitting there and saying flop, or sending that video to someone else, or tagging your mate, or liking it. That's literally giving them engagement, and that's benefiting them. So you are so dumb if you're a hater and you provide engagement to someone you hate.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
On that note, you know how we're talking about, we see a lot of bullshit on TikTok, specifically within the area?
Yeah.
Recently, there was a video surfacing. I don't know if you saw it. It was these two girls, typical girls from the area. And, they're arguing with this mum. Her kid's there.
I saw that, yeah.
And
it was an older lady.
looks-
It looked like one of them looked like a grandma, one of them looked like a mum. And it's like the respect these days has gone. The respect, honestly, like no matter what age you are, you could be 13, 14, 15. Brother, the kids are swearing at people's mums.
Bro.
They're trying to fight people's mums nowadays.
Yeah.
They're trying to fight.
That video specifically disturbed me, because everyone I know wouldn't want anyone even doing anything close to that to their mum. So I'm picturing, my mum, it's
Bro,
it's
if someone
very
did
disturbing.
that, if someone did that to my mum, I don't give a fuck who you are. You best believe you're dropping.
you know what I
You're
love,
dropping
though?
like a sack of potatoes. I don't give a fuck.
In the video, there's a kid, little girl, I think. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" or something. I kind of like that because she was defending her mum.
No, I know, but that's wrong as well. Why? Because people are feeding bullshit with other bullshit. So what I think people should do is the initial step is to just start respecting each other, man. Why can't we just start respecting each other?
Yeah, but in that specific video, if they're hitting her, how can you provide a medium with that respect?
You can't provide a medium.
If someone's physically hitting you, what
that's
can you-
different. Physically hitting,
That's
you
what I
fucking
mean.
hit them back.
That's why
All
I say
our lives, what we're taught is if someone hits you, you hit them back.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like literally, that's the bottom line of every fight, every drama. But when it comes to someone swearing at your mum, you shut them off, but you can shut them off in a different way without swearing at their mum. That's what I
different.
believe. Because
Verbal abuse is different. I feel like
100%.
anything verbal, you can always find a medium, and you can, cool off the situation. Find somehow to cool off the situation.
What the main core issue here is kids in the area and in our community, they don't have respect anymore, man.
Yeah.
Like, remember when we were young, when we were like 7, 8 years old, well, maybe they're a bit older. All right, 11, 12 years old. Bro, if someone older than you even looked at you in a certain way, you shit bricks. You don't even dare to look them in the eyes.
No,
now,
you don't. Yeah.
you got 13-year-olds looking at 30-year-olds and tell them to go fuck themselves.
That's the issue.
How did we get to this?
Bro, don't even go to the elderly. Go to like when you were in year 7 and you see year 12 or year 11 student.
Bro.
You don't even fuck with him. You don't do anything
Year
like
7, if you were in year 7 and you saw a year 12, he looks at you, you walk the other way.
Yeah,
You
it's
literally, you respect him. It's out of respect. That's something called respect. That word now, it doesn't exist in the dictionary of the area or kids or anyone.
Yeah, sadly,
Anyone.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't exist. That's the
I don't
sad
think it
part.
exists.
But another thing I wanted to talk about was the changing demographic. And for those of you that don't know, the Lebbie podcast is actually expanding heaps, bro. Literally, there was a girl that messaged me, and she messaged me out of nowhere. She's like, "Oh, I really love the podcast." I get those messages, and then she's like, "I'm like, oh, thanks so much." She's like, "Oh, and I'm especially the fact that I'm not your normal demographic." And I'm like, "What do you mean, not my normal demographic? Like, are you non-Arab?" Because what I expect is a lot of people that watch our podcast are Arab, young teenage Arabs or like people that are around our age. But then she goes, "Being non-Arab is only the beginning of me being a different demographic." I'm like, "All right, well, what are you then? Like, explain more. I'm very curious. How else can you be out of the demographic?" She's like, "Firstly, I'm a 35-year-old black female doctor from Melbourne." And when I saw that, I was
really
like,
interesting.
"What the fuck?" I'm like, a 35-year-old female doctor
Yeah.
from Melbourne is watching the podcast. And that's when that's when it dawned on me that
Forget about just the fact that a doctor is listening to us talking shit for an hour.
it's crazy.
That's crazy to me.
It's actually crazy to me.
We talk
because-
shit for an hour. I mean, we don't talk shit,
but that's
but
not the only part. Like the thing is, like we talk about like bullshit, especially when we bring on TikTokers and
Yeah.
stuff. All we talk about is TikTokers. She's like, I shouldn't even be on TikTok. Like
Mm.
I'm a doctor, you know. I'm too busy. I got things to do. Obviously, as a
I mean,
doctor, it's very stressful.
There's some doctors on TikTok.
100%. But like, she's like, I am so fascinated by the area culture,
Mm.
and your podcast made my fascination elevated. And I'm like, what the
Mm.
fuck? And then she's like, but I would love to see a changing perspective in
Mm.
the podcast. And that's what made me think. That's what started making me realize that, you know, there is other people that watch our podcast. It's not just 16-year-olds from the area that vape and watch the podcast.
Mm.
It's not that.
No.
So we got to cater to that audience. And as sad as it is, that's going to cause a decline in our views. We're not going to get as many views as we do. But that's the sort of core value that I wanted to bring to the podcast.
Yeah.
That we can change and we can provide value.
I think as well, when you say the area, I think we're in such a weird bubble that anyone outside our usual demographic will be intrigued by what we talk about. Because
100%. Like
the area is fucking interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting place. You know what I mean?
You know, it's global. That same girl, you know, she's African, obviously. She was in South Africa.
Yeah.
And she's probably watching this podcast, bro. I died when she told me this. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm in South Africa. I'm listening to your podcast, and one of my sisters basically heard me listening to your podcast, and then her sister started asking about it. What are you listening to? This is in South Africa.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I'm just listening to this podcast, and she's explaining like the area culture and how we talk about postcode wars and shit like that. And then her sister, mind you, who has never seen area TikTok, I don't know if she has. But she's like, oh, you mean like 2200?
No way.
Her sister, who she did not know that listens to or watches anything area related
From South Africa.
from South Africa, said, oh, like 2200.
So there is someone.
In South Africa,
Africa.
across the world, that knows who Yisra is.
Wow, that's crazy,
It's
man.
fucking crazy, bro. It's like I knew that she was
That's-
big.
that's a
I knew
crazy
that
influence.
I knew that these celebrities, if you like to call them from there, I think they are celebrities, by the way. I used to say they're not, but I genuinely think they are now.
They are, man.
They are
Like,
celebrities. Like they do have that clout.
They're
and
our
that fame.
celebrities. Maybe not.
Bro, she's
They're the
known,
area celebrities.
She's known in South Africa. And 2200 literally was put on the map
Yeah.
in South Africa.
That's
Crazy, bro. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think I even saw.
You're wearing red today?
I am. Why? What's the problem with
Valentine's Day.
that? Is there a problem with that?
No,
Is there a
listen,
problem with
listen.
that?
Valentine's Day, all right? I don't know why. I just changed up the dynamic of this
Yeah.
podcast. But I want to talk about Valentine's Day. Today's Valentine's Day. Obviously, we're sitting here doing a podcast on Valentine's Day. Fucking forever alone. But it's all right. Look, sometimes I
Man's
like...
committed to the podcast. You know, the podcast.
I'm married to
is
the
my,
podcast.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Podcast is my Valentine.
I fucked the
Fuck,
podcast.
that sounds
No, I'm
so
joking.
fucking... That sounds so fucking nerd. Fucking geeky.
Podcast is my fucking.
No, but listen, you don't have a Valentine's this Valentine's.
Nah.
You never told me about
man's doing
anyone.
it tough. Yeah, but you know what? I have an interesting perspective about relationships and the whole thing. You know,
No.
the whole
But you
process.
forget about that. You never told me, like, I'm your brother, yeah.
Yeah,
And I wanted to put you on the spot on the podcast.
Yeah.
I've never asked you about this,
yeah.
but you never told me about like I don't know, like your relationships and that. You never told me about relationships, people you meet. You know my past relationships. You know my exes. You know all the stories that I had.
Yeah.
How come you never open up about that?
Look, the truth is, all right, I have not. Relationships are complicated, and the whole thing about. Here's what I think. I think that a lot of people are getting into relationships and getting into love and stuff just because of the sake of it. They're not being dragged towards it.
That's
They're
not necessarily true.
That's what I think. A lot of people are doing that.
No.
I think personally, you shouldn't get into the relationships just to point to the fact to people that you're in a relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, but listen, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you here. I'm talking about you personally, why you haven't opened up. Because come on, unless you're gay, unless you're LGBT,
I'm not gay.
you've obviously had crushes in the past. You've obviously liked the girl from school. You've obviously liked girls
I
out
have
of school.
told you. Wait, I have told you about girls. What in high school? You talking about?
Well, not necessarily high school.
I mean,
Bro, you've
like-
left high school for 3 years now. You're telling me there's not one girl. There's one girl.
I mean, there's a girl, but I'm not gonna go and say every girl I'm attracted to. I'm gonna like straight
no,
away.
but you've obviously spoken to girls. Like you've obviously said in there.
I have spoken to girls, but
Why are you not more open? Like, do you feel shy? Do you feel like you're gonna get judged? Do you feel like I don't know, like fucking.
I don't know. It's just me personally. I don't open up until something's solidified. I don't know if that's just me, but
You know what? That's a point because
yeah.
take it from me, based on my previous 2 relationships that were both serious, by the way. You know that for a fact. They were both serious. They both got introduced to my parents. They both, had like. I introduced them and actually told my parents about them. Both of them didn't work out.
Can
Both
I
of
ask
them
a
didn't work
question?
out. What?
Did you think you rushed into any of those relationships?
Not really. Oh, maybe the second one, yes. First one, not really. First one, I really sat down, dug deep, and fucking took a few years before I even like made things serious. But obviously, people are not who they seem, and that's the reality of like the situation. Like people, you think you know someone, right? You meet someone, you get to know them, you sit down, you kick back, you love them, you love being with them, you love their personality, you love what they can bring to the table. But please do not trust someone, even like the fact that making it serious with someone, that can always go sour because once I feel like a girl, if you get to know her, I feel like most times when you get to know a girl and you get serious, she shows her true colors. And I'm not generalizing with girls. It could be the same with guys, but I'm obviously attracted to females, so I've only experienced females. So I'm saying that some girls are crazy, bro. Some girls are fucking crazy jealous.
Some girls are crazy.
Fucking 90% of girls are crazy.
There's a lot of girls that are crazy.
90% of girls are crazy. And
there's a lot of guys that are
the
crazy.
scary part is they don't reveal their true craziness until you make things official.
But that's what I
Whether
mean.
it's fetiha, whether it's cat, whether it's fully married, which worst case scenario, because then obviously the only way to get out of that is divorce, and you don't want to go through a divorce. Trust me.
Here's the thing. A lot of, they talk about the talking stage. I feel like you can fake a whole personality through the talking stage.
I feel like the talking stage is the worst stage in the whole relationship.
That's what I mean because
because if I don't have any other talking stage in me, bro, it's like a 2-week free trial. Yeah. It's like 2 weeks. You get to know someone. You ask them what their favorite color is. You ask them fucking what their favorite food is, and then it's just like things just die off. I don't get how people.
But it's like the gym. You get a 2-week free trial. You commit to it, but then you fuck off afterwards.
100%. But the sad part is that 2-week free trial. You both know there's no commitment. So you both know that you're not in there for the long run in most cases. And it's just a waste of time. Like this talking fucking phase, bro, it shits me, bro.
That's what I mean.
It fucking shits me.
But you have gotten invested too early. I'm saying that as a statement. Do you disagree with that?
Me getting no, I don't. I think I'm not.
I think.
No. But I just told you why. I told you that the reason with me is I get serious with someone, yeah, and I get involved and I get in love and I put out everything I can. But the problem is people change, bro. That's the sad part. People change.
But that's another thing I'm saying. People are rushing too quick into things as well. It's like they get into the talking stage.
But not necessarily. Like you don't have to rush into something. Like you saw my first relationship was 3 years before shit went sour. 3 years to get to know someone is a fucking long time. But people change. People can change after 10 years.
People get married that's just life. People change. Like people, I mean.
But that's in my opinion, the hardest part about a relationship. Ensuring that someone doesn't change. How can you know that someone's not going to change? You don't know that. Like, bro, I look at, without giving someone their hand or anything, I look at people that are in serious loving relationships and I look at old couples that have been together for a while and I always think, how? Like how, bro? How does that? How do you get to know someone and stick with them and love them, both of you guys unconditionally? How does that happen? Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I just don't realize how this works.
I think relationships. I mean, in our parents' generation, relationships were held more seriously and relationships were kept stronger.
Why is that though? Why did
because of the fucking talking stage, because of texting. That ruins the whole...
You know what? I agree with that.
You believe texting, you believe that's the person.
I think social media and texting has ruined relationships and has ruined the talking stage. Because back then, put it this way, in our parents' stage, how did they used to do the talking stage? They never used to snap each other. They never used to send each other Snapchats or send fucking memes or anything. They would actually probably meet up and talk and get to know someone because seeing someone in person is so much better.
That's so like
they would actually get to know each other. But now it's like, you know, you don't even have to meet someone for 2 weeks and you can fuck them off. So imagine not even meeting someone, going through the talking stage for 2 weeks, wasting their time, and then just blocking them and fucking... A girl done that to me recently. Can I like actually open up?
Yeah, go.
I don't give a fuck. I'm going to be real.
I mean, it's a podcast. That's the point of it.
I don't usually like opening up about this stuff, but today I'm going to open up.
Yeah, why not? Go.
A girl just ghosted me out of nowhere. Fucking out of... Like, I was talking to her for 2 weeks, yeah? 2 weeks, everything was going so well.
2 weeks, this was like a just talking friend or more than that?
Well, I think more than that, because like when you start making plans with someone and start actually like talking to them every night, I think that's probably more than friends, because if you are a friend, you don't really talk to someone every night.
Yeah, but girls,
girl
bro,
and a guy.
they give weird signals. Girls, they.
That's what I was gonna get at. Like,
Yeah.
how can some like I was talking to this girl for 2 weeks and we were getting like the vibes were there, bro. Like the vibes were there. Sorry. The vibes were there. Like I'm sitting there, we're talking, we're doing like voice messages. That's how you know you're into someone, when you're doing voice messages, because you want to hear their voice.
Yeah.
And you want to vibe with someone better. Calling, a lot of this stuff.
I've
bro.
done the voice messages as well, but
And then all of a sudden, right? Out of nowhere, like we're talking, that night, she just blocks me.
what blocked? What
Blocks
completely blocked you?
Completely blocked. And
Wow.
the sad part is,
That's interesting.
how the fuck do I know why you blocked me if you blocked me and I couldn't even ask you why you blocked me?
So that's it. It's a mystery. You'll never know.
So it's a mystery.
Unless
I
you
mean,
meet that person.
maybe that person heard something about me. Maybe someone told them something about me, which I don't know what it is.
I mean, a lot
Rumors
of
happen. I don't know.
a lot of your life is online as well. So
But that's the thing, like these girls, and she made it clear to me, right? I think this was it. She made it clear to me, and she told me something from the start that I thought about. She's like to me, I prefer a guy that's low key. And that got me thinking, like maybe these girls, when they look at me, they're like, he puts everything out on social media. He's very outgoing. He's big on social media. He has a big following. Maybe he talks to a lot of girls.
does that automatically make you a fuckboy if you're like?
I think it automatically makes me a fuckboy, but I explained to her that if anything, the people and those guys that post on social media a lot and girls that post on social media a lot, they don't have time to be a fuckboy. If you're sitting there and posting
Yeah,
fucking...
but obviously you would know more because you're in that
100%.
life, obviously.
And she's very low key, that girl. So she's very low key, doesn't have like, doesn't even have Instagram. Fuck is that? Imagine someone that doesn't have Instagram these days.
Wait, how are you communicating?
Via text, via Snap, or something
Snap.
else. Someone that doesn't have
old
Instagram and has Snap, by the way, that's a red flag. Just letting you know, that's a red flag.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone that doesn't have Instagram.
Someone that
and has
doesn't have
Snap.
Instagram and has Snapchat, that's a red flag.
Bro, you know what? I went on Snapchat.
Anyway, let me just finish my story.
Continue.
So she was telling me that she likes a guy that's low key, and she's a very low key type. Like she didn't even tell me her last name. 2 weeks I knew her, she never told me her last name.
Really?
And I was
but that's-
fine with that
a lot of
because I thought maybe she takes time to trust me and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
a lot of people don't immediately drop this.
Doesn't,
surname.
yeah. She told me
Yeah.
she likes to be very low key. And I explained to her, like I sat there for most of the part of the 2 weeks explaining to her that I don't fucking talk to girls because I don't sit here and I don't have the time for that. I seriously do not have the time.
But
I don't get guys that talk to 5 girls at a time. I can't do that.
I mean, how do you
have the
know,
time, the patience?
How do you have the mental capacity to put up with
Bro,
5
how
girls?
do you have the mental
How?
capacity to put up with 5 mind games? 5 mind games.
That's what I mean. I can't. It's a
How
mathematical
can a
equation.
guy sit there and talk to 10 girls at a time? Think about this, ladies, before you think a guy's a fuckboy. How can he talk to 10 girls at a time without getting a brain hemorrhage or some shit?
Bro, girls are
How
the
does that
most
happen?
girls are the most complex equation. Like that's a part of the reason, going back to that question, that's a part of the reason why I don't immediately say things, because it's a challenge where I just can't get past that, because like I don't know, the signals and stuff. The girls,
The signals are hard.
it's hard to
The
like.
thing is, I think there was one time, right, where I was talking to her and she was like to me, oh, fucking, we're having a good conversation. And then I'm like, oh, we had to do a podcast and stuff. So I told her I'm going to be busy for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm obviously I'm making content and I want someone, if I want to be with someone, I want someone to understand that I sit there, I make content certain parts of the week. So I'm busy for a few hours at a time.
Yeah, you want them to support you on that
we,
as well.
we edit the podcast. We fucking sit down and we actually put time and effort into that. So I told her that. And then she's like, yeah, that's fine. All good. I understand. Fucking, anyway, I went and done my business. Came back about a few hours later. Didn't reply to my message. Left me on red.
Wow.
And then the next day I
That's it for you.
messaged her, and then she sort of took fucking till that night to reply. And she acted like everything was all good. I'm like, is everything all good? Yeah, everything's all good. Nothing's wrong. Are you sure everything's all good?
That's what I mean. Like,
Nothing's wrong. I'm
Yeah.
like, are you sure everything's all good? Yeah, 100%. No, how was your podcast? Did you enjoy this and that? But clearly,
wait.
she got cut.
Is she subscribed to the Lebbie podcast?
She probably is. If you're watching this, please.
That's his way to communicate to you.
if you're
You've
watching this,
blocked him on everything. That's how he's going to communicate.
Look, I feel so vulnerable now.
Did you
but
get her email?
I don't know why I fucking talked about this, man.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I like being open. Like I
She
feel like
might-
the podcast is my way to vent.
She might be
I
a
didn't
viewer.
vent
Look,
to-
she might be viewing this podcast, and you might
if
be
you're viewing this,
connecting with her right
if
now.
you're viewing this, I'm not gonna say her name. Maybe we can bleep it out. No,
Yeah.
if you're viewing this, I no hard feelings. Obviously, I mean, fucking, you did what you have to do. Maybe you didn't vibe with someone that makes content, or you thought I was a fuckboy. But I just want to know why. Tell me why.
But you know what? With that whole fuck
I seriously want to know why.
I don't know. It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
I-
You might find out one day.
I just hate.
You might get an email.
I hate
don't
being
know.
left in the dark. I'm the type of guy that if I want to know something, I fucking want to know it. Like I go out of my way to find out. Like I really, if I
Why,
want
how
to
do
know
you
something,
mean? Like, do you do detective work and shit too?
bro, I'm good. I'm a good detective. I have good detective work for a guy. Guys are
Wow.
usually shit with that stuff. But me, if I want to
No,
find something,
I'll-
best
I-
believe I'll find it.
I'm the same.
Well, you're in the IT, so you're different.
I
You
do.
Fucking do that
I
for
pull
a
out the
living.
old fucking OSINT tools and public domains
But,
and shit. Nah,
but
bro.
yeah, like I want to go back to Valentine's Day, bro. Like today's Valentine's Day. I feel like it's like any other day.
It's nothing for me. Like, I've gone to the point where I'm just gonna let it happen as it is. And can I say, the whole thing with arranged marriages?
Look,
I think they were a good thing. This is
I
controversial.
disagree.
This is controversial.
I disagree. I think arranged marriages were not a good thing because you want to get to know someone first. I know you get the whole thing, people telling you, they last longer,
Back
this
then.
and that.
Back-
They last longer back then. But nowadays, bro, imagine being forced in a room with someone that you've never met in your life and then try to communicate with them and then have to live with them for the rest of your life. You learn to love them,
It's-
obviously.
bro.
But I'd rather get to know someone and actually fucking just get the
Okay, but
reality.
how can you? If you look at a statistic, or I think if there's a statistic against arranged marriages and marriages right now in the area, I feel like you'll find a lot more breakups.
I mean,
now.
a lot of the parents, a lot of people that
There's a
came
lot
from
of bullshit
overseas-
now with that.
A lot of the parents, a lot of the people that came from overseas, their marriages were arranged. And we know that for a fact.
How strong are their marriages?
I mean, I don't know how strong they are, bro. Like, the whole concept of marriage, I don't understand it. Like, how do you just choose someone and say, that's it, you're the person I'm going to live with for the rest of my life?
Because you know why?
That scares me. That actually scares me, being with a person for the rest of your life and then having to make that right choice.
But that's what I mean with making a decision. It's not a decision you just make straight away. You have to put some deep thought into it because you're going to spend the rest of your life with this person.
I think, look, in saying that, I think your parents know what's best for you.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say,
As I grew up-
your mum knows to
As-
choose the right person for
As
you.
I grew up, I realized that your parents know what's best for you.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. Like, I feel like a lot of people, when I was young, especially, when I was at a certain age with my first lover or whatever, I was ignoring my parents. I was like, nah, you guys don't know anything, man. I know what I want. I know that she's perfect. I like her. She loves me too. She'll never hurt me. My parents were like, wait and see. They literally told me, wait and see. And that's the biggest regret I have, to not listen to my parents. I put them through all that. I mean, eventually I didn't get married to her, but at the same time, if I had listened to my parents, things would have turned out different. Obviously I wouldn't have wasted all that time of my life, but obviously, alhamdulillah, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
As we said,
100%.
everything's written for us. But at the same time, I always tell these young kids, man, if you're 16, 17 years old, you think you know the world, you think you're top shit, you think you're untouchable, listen to your parents, man. Especially when it comes to love, and especially when it comes to who you want to choose. I'm not saying go in blindly and just let your parents choose for you, but if your parents have bad vibes about someone, they're usually right. They're usually right. Most of the time, they're right.
That's why I said it's controversial. But I think arranged marriages, for most people,
I don't agree with
been
arranged
better.
marriages, but I agree that your parents, if they advise you about someone, then 10 times out of 10 they're right.
I
10
mean,
times out
I
of
mean,
10.
arranged marriages to the point where it's not full-fledged arranged, where it's like
I
you have
think-
no other decision, you have no other choice. But to the
I think arranged marriages are good when you get to vibe with the person, but obviously people only tell you about the arranged marriages that worked out. People don't sit there and tell you about arranged marriages that turned into abuse, arranged marriages that turned into like, hating each other,
Yeah.
arranged marriages that turned into blaming other people and being like, you set me up with this person and I don't like this person. There's so many arranged marriages that didn't work out the same way a lot of high school sweethearts didn't work out.
yeah,
It's just love, bro. I don't understand it. I don't think I'll ever understand it. The sad part
it's
is
complex. But I think we've been on this topic so long. No
I just want
offense.
to comment.
We've been on this
I
so long.
just want to comment about one more thing.
Yeah,
Growing up, I always thought like, fucking, the hardest part to get married would be financial, would be buying a house, would be getting a job, would be getting a full-time job. But then the more I grow up, the more I realize, the more I mature, the more I realize that the hardest part is choosing the right one. because the job will come, the money will come, money comes and goes. Money is there, bro. Money will come and go. The job will come. You know, financial houses will come. But the hardest part is choosing the right one, because that's going to be there forever. And that's going to stick by your side. And choosing the right one, especially choosing someone that will be good for your kids, choosing someone that will be a good mother. That's the hardest part. That's the part I haven't figured out yet.
Yeah.
I don't know where she is. I don't know where the one, you know how they call her the one?
Yeah.
I don't know where she is right now.
But people say there's plenty of fish in the sea, but a lot of the fish in the area are fucking... You can't... I don't know. There's a lot of weird fish, if that makes sense. There's a lot of fish that don't connect. There's a lot of fish in the sea, but there's a lot of fish that don't connect.
I feel like our generation, especially our generation, the fish in the sea are very rare when you can find the right one. They're very rare.
But that's what I mean. That's another reason why I struggle to find, you know, the right one, because who is the right one? You know, I don't even know myself.
You'll never know. And like another thing that I also realized is like when I was growing up, when I was about 16, 17, the main thing I looked at with a girl when I like get to know a girl, I reckon it was 90% looks. I mean, at that age, you always look at looks like, oh, fuck, she's cracker, bro. She's so hot. I want to get to know her. And I was like that. I was a 16, 17-year-old kid. I was fucking, you know, full of adrenaline, full of fucking testosterone.
Yeah.
Not testosterone, but like full of... I was a horny kid.
Yeah,
Let's just say that. You know,
100%,
you're a horny kid when you're 16,
that's
17.
how it is, yeah.
You want to get to know girls, but you're only looking at girls as like sort of at their looks. But the more I get older, now like 6, 7 years have passed, showing my age here, but like 6, 7 years have passed, and the more I get older, the more I think that chasing looks is never the right thing.
No.
Because yes, looks attract you at first, but personality is what stays.
That's what keeps you.
Personality is what stays.
Yeah.
And I mean, how do people love each other until they're 60, 70? You think you're going to love a 60, 70-year-old when you're 60, 70 and you're going to be jumping in bed every second?
But when this
You're not gonna be doing
generation is 60 or 70, how strong would their relationships be if they're still together?
I don't know. I mean,
I think the
they'd probably
statistic
be
for that-
blocking each other on TikTok.
I think the statistic for that is going to drop. Like, I
I
don't
feel
know.
like they'll be hitting, they'll be doing TikTok dances together.
They'll be in the
This
metaverse. They'll
generation
be in the
when they're
metaverse.
60, 70.
They'll
They'll be in the
metaverse.
metaverse. It's going to be different. But yeah, like when I see old people together, I'm like, that's based on personality. A lot of it is based on and as I mature more and get older, I think personality is the main thing, man.
Can we
Let's
move to
take a
something
dive
else?
to another topic.
Bro, we've been like 40 minutes on this.
No, we
But-
haven't. Have we actually?
I think so, yeah,
Alright.
like 40 minutes. But
Anyway.
but yeah, like, how's work? How's work?
You can't just say, let's change topics and then go,
Alright, fucking-
how's work?
What's a good segue into another topic? How
Kanye West.
Kanye West, yeah.
Listen,
Kanye's out of
everyone's
control.
had a toxic ex, all right? Everyone's had a toxic ex. I don't care who you are. You've always had that ex where she stays around for a longer time. She fucking makes your life misery. But Kanye West is on another level, bro. Kanye West
Kanye is out of control.
Bro, he's calling him Skeet. Pete Davidson is calling him Skeet.
Someone needs to take Kanye's phone right now.
Someone needs
Right
to take
now.
his Instagram account. You know what the funniest
Take his whole
part was?
phone.
You know what the
Not just
funniest
his
part was?
Instagram.
When he was holding that letter that said, I am not hacked. And he had the fucking, I died laughing at that fucking photo.
No,
for
no,
ages,
no.
bro.
The one
For
that I
ages.
died about was what was that one? What's that? The superhero one.
Oh,
The Avengers.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
it the Avengers
When
or
he
something?
showed like the two teams.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Marvel
killed me.
versus DC.
That fucking killed
What
me.
the fuck? Like,
Bro, like how old are you, Kanye, bro? Like seriously, I mean, I love him. I mean, everyone says that he's toxic and that, but come on, you aspire to be that toxic, man.
yeah.
Being
like,
that toxic is fucking something to brag about. bro.
Kanye's on a different level.
He's
of
on a
toxic.
different level. That guy has fucking showed that being toxic,
Not just
can be
toxic. He's like
new levels.
petty as well. He's very petty.
bro,
Like-
and he's being so nice to her. But have you seen like the private messages between them? He's like, oh, you know, I will do everything to protect my family. I feel like sometimes he's like a fucking robot.
Oh, in his song, he goes, I take care of the kids like 5 hours a day. Bull fucking shit,
But
Kanye.
if-
There's no way you take care of them.
I think he does, bro. He looks like a loving father.
I don't know, bro.
I don't know
I
if he
feel
takes
like
care of them 5 hours a day.
Kim was the one that would take care of him.
100%. Like she's
He'll
the
probably
female.
set him straight. Look, he'll be the one that set him straight. but
I feel
reckon-
like he'd be a loving dad, but he looks
Yeah.
like the type, like Kanye looks like the type, like, come here, son. You know what I mean? Like, he'd just be like very cuddly. He'd be like
Nah,
a cuddly
I
dad.
feel like he'll have a conversation with his son.
I want to give him a hug.
Yeah.
I seriously want to give Kanye a hug. I find him cute. Like
Kanye's-
in a I'm not homosexual, but like I find him cute, and I'd give him a hug, bro. I like, You know, like he's been through a lot. Kanye's been through a lot, and he's like,
But
obviously he's lost his family and stuff, and people would come and say it's all on him, right? Because he fucked up. He probably didn't treat Kim the right way. But at the same time, bro, you got to feel for him. They got like 4 or 5 kids together. She's gone fucking with SNL, Pete Davidson, who, by the way, proves that it's all about being funny. Being a funny cunt is like up there with.
Bro, I'm team Pete Davidson. I don't know
actually?
why. I like going on the underdog.
You know why?
I like an underdog.
You know what's funny though? Pete Davidson is literally just taking all this shit from Kanye, and he said nothing.
No, there was a clip. I don't know if that wasn't recently, but I think that was ages ago.
Clip of what?
Pete Davidson. He was in an interview.
Yeah.
What was he saying? Something about Kanye. I can't remember, but no, it wasn't. That was a long time ago. I don't think it was recent.
Bro, I don't know. I feel like Pete Davidson is just like he's just a funny, tall, lanky, awkward dude. And I feel like Kim is like so different to how Pete is.
Yeah.
But somehow the dynamic would work. Why? Because he's funny. I'm telling you, being funny is so important in a relationship.
Being funny,
so important.
So important. Yeah, being funny and being confident as well. Being confident in
but
yourself.
at the same time, you got to think about it. Being funny is, bro, that's gonna stay. It's like personality. I think when we talk about personality, we talk about being funny. Yeah. Like if you say I care about personality, you care about someone being funny. Because put it this way, if you're going to live with someone for 40, 50 years until you guys die or for the rest of your life, you best believe that that person should be funny. Because you want to have a laugh with that person for the rest of your life. Yeah. You want to make going to pick up the kids funny. You don't want to be like, honey, did you pick up the kids? Yes, I will pick them up this evening. No, you want to be like, hey, you fuckwit. Did you pick up the kids? Like, you want to be funny. Hey,
you want to be able to fart in front of your fucking
100%.
missus as a joke.
And that's what I think. Everyone says, oh, she's going for Pete Davidson. Maybe he's a funny cunt. Maybe she enjoys being with him.
A lot of girls like funny guys. That's the truth of the matter. Like, it's not about having a 6-pack and that anymore. I feel like
what a girl told
girls like dad bods as well.
100%. I mean, Pete Davidson doesn't have a dad bod. He's just skinny.
I mean, I have a dad bod, but come on.
But I feel like girls find that more cuddly. I feel like girls, they don't. I mean, look, the gym bros are probably going to get cut at this. But boys, listen. Every girl that I've spoken to, every single girl that I've spoken to has told me I don't care about abs. I swear to God, every single girl has told me I don't care about because I've always wanted abs. Like my whole life, I've always wanted abs. But every girl's like, man, I just love a tummy. I love when there's a gut.
Yeah.
She's like, I love when there's a
girls
gut. I love laying on that gut. I love like cuddly.
But that's the statistics now say that girls love dad bods more. That's just
100%. And girls love that more. And a lot of these gym bros, they're like, bro, every time I post a photo, it's like 60 guys complimenting. You know why? Because girls don't give a fuck about abs, bro. I'm sorry. But girls care about dad bods and being funny.
Yeah. Literally. You could be the most unfunny guy and just have a 6-pack. That's not going to mean shit because...
Look, listen. Kim and Pete Davidson are a true example of being cut up and being the bulkiest guy and having the most fucking testosterone is not going to get you the girls. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. You know, you might look at me and say, how much do I bench? I don't give a fuck how much I bench. How much do you bench?
How much?
Does that bring you any females?
How many donuts can you consume in fucking
Girls love
1
eating.
minute?
Girls love food. Girls love... I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, what are you going to take her to a gym?
I feel like gym bros are boring.
Yeah.
Oh, look, sorry. I'm not going to go at gym bros.
Bro, you just lost all the gym
I'm not going to go at gym bros. I feel like a lot of them are
followers.
funny. Look, I'm sorry. A lot of them are funny. Don't come for me. Don't fucking cancel me. But like some of them that are like very serious into their workouts, they're boring, bro. Come on, man. Like,
and a lot of them
anyone that wants to fucking just sit there and do 300 push-ups a day,
you know why? It's because a lot of gym dudes, their fucking personality sucks and they're egotistical.
That's true.
A lot of gym guys.
You know what?
I feel like that's just because of the confidence in themselves. But it's not because they're intentionally being dickheads or anything. It's just
I just feel like they're boring because they're so zoned in. And I envy that. I envy being that zoned in.
Yeah.
You know, like there's certain guys that are just so zoned into their goals and to their fitness goals that they're just boring. They don't have anything. They don't have any time for anything else. And good on them because they're putting their health first. But I personally can't do that, bro. I love having a laugh. I love sitting back and being like, "Fuck it, let's go get donuts, bro."
Yeah, like late night Uber Eats, like fucking having an Uber Eats late night.
Funny.
You know what I mean?
It's fucking funny, bro. Kick back, have a laugh.
Yeah, it's not all about fucking. I had 10 Wheat Bix this morning. I had a 5K run. I mean, like girls are gonna go, okay, like.
Bro, seriously?
Are you going to take me out to dinner now? Like, well,
hey, yo, Joe Byron, take me out to dinner.
fucking yeah. How's
I feel like, you know what? I feel like we haven't done a podcast of
I
just
know,
me and you
I
for a
feel
while.
like you've
It's
just
been a while. It's hard to segue into topics.
yeah.
Have you been driving much?
I have been driving, and I've been. You know what's weird? You know, I noticed this on the drive back home from work today. This happens a lot of the time. Like, I feel like a lot of people experience this weird experience where they drive and then they get to their destination, but they forget most of the drive. It's like you were asleep most of the drive, and you're on the street back home, and you're like, "Oh wait, I'm driving."
No, you sit there, and you're like, you're passing cars, you're going through lights, you're going through green lights, like you're fucking merging lanes. But I feel like sometimes it's because you're into the song, or you're into what you're listening to, and that makes you zoned out. It's never like,
you know what?
Sometimes you're daydreaming, all right? Sometimes you're daydreaming, right? And you're like thinking about fucking what you're gonna eat tonight, or whatever, you know, whatever you're daydreaming about, that you completely forget that you have to actually think about driving. But the thing is, you become so autonomous at driving that you don't even have to think about it.
This is what I was gonna say.
Like tying your shoelace.
Yeah, I was gonna say because we're stuck in such a routine. I feel like this doesn't happen to people that are not in a routine, that don't work a 9 to 5. I feel like because
you just came into a very important topic.
yeah, because I'm stuck in a routine. I go to the same job. I work with the same people 9 to 5. That it's just automatic. I'm like a robot. I'm just driving.
I thought about that this morning, bro. I thought about like deja vu. Like every single morning, the same thing happens. Like when you're driving to work, and then you see the same fucking red light. You see the same dog. walk,
because you're
same
on the
guy
same
walking his dog every single day.
Exactly.
It's like Groundhog Day, right? But if you were to not be in a 9 to 5, like I always wonder about those people that have obviously quit their jobs and obviously are entrepreneurs or they have businesses or whatever, and they're living the dream basically. They don't have to account. They don't have to clock onto a job, and they don't have to report to a boss or anything. They're their own boss.
Yeah.
I was reading this book, right? And this book, I read it. I don't read books. I think the best way to read books these days, because who the fuck reads books now, is
I have not read a
Audible.
book in
Audible.
ages.
You should get Audible. Audible is like it's like listening to a podcast, but obviously you just listen to the book. But it's very generic. The voice that they use for the books is very generic. So you listen to this book, and this book is called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I told you a bit about it. Like I talked to you about investing and stuff like that. Very important, right? This book single-handedly has changed my mentality for the rest of my life. And I'm not giving any advertisement to this book. I'm not sitting here and promoting this book. But I just when I know something has value, I want to provide it to the audience. If you haven't read this book, go fucking read it. If you feel like you're stuck in a 9 to 5, you feel like you're stuck in life, you feel like you want to go places but you don't know where to start, read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Me and you were already in discussions about certain things. We want to change certain things about us. Bro, I'll give you some pointers of how he talks. He's like, we look at money a certain way. This book has changed the way I look at money completely. So we always are taught work for money. You want money? Go work for it. You want something? Go work for it. This guy, he's like, don't work for money. Let money work for you. And that a lot of people will listen to that and be like, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? It just means use your money to invest in assets that will generate you money. And as simple as it sounds, sometimes just hearing it and replaying it over and over again makes you realize that you're not really doing that. The biggest problem we have is that we don't know the difference between a liability and an asset. An asset is something that will generate you money. Like, for example, a stock, crypto, NFTs, a business, whatever, something.
Yeah, I feel like because the thing that causes that is we're taught the same thing. You know, within our community, we're taught, you know, get a job, get a decent job, pay off your house, and just get by to support your family.
And that's definitely okay if you're okay with that. If
you're
okay with that, if you're okay with working for the rest of your life and just trying to pay off your home loan, that's fine. But people don't, the generic pathway is probably not the right pathway for a lot of people. Because a lot of people don't want to sit there and report to a boss. A lot of people don't want to sit there and just get paid to put that money straight on bills.
It's not for everyone.
It's sad, bro. It's hard. It's very hard. And I'm working towards, the goal is to just get out of that. You know what my goal is?
Yeah.
To get $100 million and get a wife.
That's
and get a wife. $100 million.
Get a wife. He goes from $100 million
my
to
goal
get a
is
wife.
to get $100 million and get a nice wife that will take care of my children and the right person and choosing the right one, and I'm happy.
That's a good
You
goal.
know, you're relaxed.
That's a good goal to set because it's not something within your reach right now.
It's not, but it's a good goal to set.
It's a good goal to set. But here's another thing. We talk a lot about manifestation, And I feel like if you're working a 9 to 5 and you're manifesting just to get by and just to support your family, that's fine. But if you're complaining about that, you can't complain because that's what you're manifesting. You're not working towards another
100%.
another goal.
What you are, like what you constantly think about is what you become.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly thinking, oh man, I got to work, I got to please the boss, that's all you're ever going to do for the rest of your life. Right now, I'm changing my mentality. Like something as simple as he's like, a lot of people like look at like, for example, something and they're like, oh, it's expensive. They're like, oh, bro, I can't afford it, bro.
Yeah.
You shouldn't say I can't afford it. You should say, how can I afford it?
How can you afford it?
Why say how can I afford it? Because if you say, bro, I can't afford it, you've automatically closed off every gate and pathway.
Yeah.
You've taught your mind to be lazy and your mind stops working. But when you say, how can I afford it? Your mind starts working. You start thinking of ways. You start thinking of avenues, pathways, everything. That's when it starts becoming more clear. And that's how I've adopted that mentality. Like when I look at things now, it's not always like not only in terms of money, in terms of everything, in terms of every aspect of my life. Like I look at it, I go, fuck, I can't get this many, I can't get this person on my podcast, or I can't do this for the Lebbie podcast. I can't get this many views. No, it's like, how can I get this?
Yeah.
How can
and
I
a lot of
achieve
the
that?
times I'll tell you something like, I'll tell you, why don't we try and get this guest? And you go, oh, he's out of our reach. Like, what are you talking about?
And that's how I used to be. But now that I've listened to this book and read this book, bro, I've changed my mentality completely on the way I look at money.
Yeah.
The way I look at not only money, just everything in general in life, success, pathways, everything,
But
bro.
are you looking in life? Your main goal is to get money, or
No,
your main
my
goal is
main
to be
goal
successful.
is to be successful because
But
everyone
success
tells you
comes
this.
with money.
All right, exactly. A lot of people tell you money can't buy you happiness. Money can't buy you happiness. No, I genuinely disagree because a lot of the problems that we have can be fixed by money. I'm telling you. Like, all right, when you're talking about something like mental health, when you're talking about someone like the loss of a family member, when you're talking about something like sickness, okay, that's different. But not everyone has those problems. When people who don't have those problems tell you that money is the root of all evil, or they tell you, oh, money is not the way to happiness, then they're lying. Because if you give them $100 million right now, they'll be happy. I'm telling you, if they don't have those things that I mentioned, mental health disorders or loss of a family or sickness or anything that around that sort of stigma, then they'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'll give you $100 million.
a lot of stress comes from financial insecurity.
Exactly. Why are we working?
Yeah.
A lot of people, I tell them like, why are you going to work? They always say, because I enjoy it. No, you don't enjoy it. You don't enjoy waking up at 5 a.m. every day unless you enjoy your job.
Yeah, some people
unless you enjoy your job.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, 80% of the people that do their job don't enjoy their job. And a lot of them are afraid to admit that. But that's the thing. Like, if you don't enjoy your job, why are you at that job? Because you want to get money. And if I gave you $100 million right now, best believe you're not going to keep doing that job. Like a lot of people at work joke around and they're like, oh, fuck, bro, if I win the lottery, what if I win the lottery? They're like, oh, I'll come back to work. Get the fuck out. As soon as you win the lottery, brother,
that is the
you are
biggest
coming.
bullshit.
No, and you're not only going to quit, you're going to look at the boss and you're going to put your finger up and you're going to swear at him. And you're going to tell him, go fuck yourself.
100%. Like, a lot of people bullshit. They say, oh, I'd still go to work the next day, man. Shut the fuck up.
I mean, look, for me, I look at it this way.
Yeah.
I don't want to retire early because I want to keep my mind working. But at the same time, I don't want to be working hard hours when I'm at a late age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to be able to get to an age where it's like I can live off my investments. I can start making business decisions. I can be a businessman, this and that. And it's easier said than done, bro. A lot of people are talking about, oh, I want to start a business. And no one does it because there's a lot of failure. The failure to success rate is so much higher than the failure rate is so much higher than the success rate.
But you have to fail, specifically in business. I feel like you have to fail to succeed.
The problem is we are driven by our fear of failure. That's the biggest thing that stops us from anything. Our fear of failure. But then what's the worst that can happen? You're going to die. You're going to die. Like,
exactly.
The thing is, everyone
your span is temporary on this life. You're 100%. Here for a limited time. So why not just delve into things?
Why not risk things?
Yeah.
Because they tell you the biggest risk is life because you're guaranteed you're not making it out of it. You're not making out of it. How do I say it? You're not making it out. You're not making it out alive.
Yeah.
That risk, the riskiest thing is being alive because you're not going to get out of it alive. Basically, being born. That's the riskiest thing that happened to you. Because there's 100% death rate. So if that's the riskiest thing that happened to you, fuck everything else. Why do we stress so much? And I'm trying to change my mentality on that. Why do we stress so much about that? You know what I mean?
Like, why don't you go bungee jumping tomorrow?
because you're
Because-
100%. You have that fear.
Yeah.
But what's your fear of bungee jumping?
Fear
Dying.
of dying, but you're
But you're gonna die anyway. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing.
But people
If
don't
you-
want to die
if
now.
you
That's
look
the
at-
difference.
There's a saying
Yeah.
that everybody wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that's the reality. Of
But
the
because
situation.
people are in fear of dying and not having to completed something
they didn't want to.
they
They wanted to
they
complete.
wanted to complete. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or they would have gone through something which they would have never
I
been
mean,
able to go through.
I think I've read. I'm very interested and very fascinated by people's like last words or people's like deathbed wishes and deathbed requests. And I've read a lot of this stuff. Like I don't know. Sometimes I Google it and that.
Yeah.
And I read like a lot of the celebrities what they talk about and stuff. And they all say the same thing. I regret not taking more risks. I regret not asking that girl out, or I regret not taking that offer, or I regret not bungee jumping, or I regret not skydiving. Because they realize they get to a point where it's like you're gonna die now, and everything you ever did, you can't change that.
Yeah.
So moments, memories, where do they all come from? Spending time with loved ones. You know, that stuff is priceless, right? You can't
Yeah.
put a price on that. But I feel like the reason why I want to become successful is because I want to spend good time with my family. I don't want to spend my time working a lot. Like I want to actually sit down,
Bro,
be a good father to my kids.
people work and get shit on. Like people
Bro.
people are in a job where they're not appreciated and they stay there.
so
they put
sad.
up with that shit.
It's so sad when I see people that work, especially like in my company and things like that.
Yeah.
They work 12 to 14 hours a day. And they have kids, bro. They have young
They
kids.
get
and
what they get at the end of the day, they get a little pat on the back.
They
Oh,
get a little
nice,
pat on the
nice
back
job.
and they break their back for a job. And then only to like get 2 days out of the week to spend with their family, which goes by in the blink of an eye. And then you have to restart and do it all over again. Every single week of your life. Like everyone told you uni's stressful, HSC stressful, school stressful. But really imagine this, yeah, if you're in HSC or you're in uni and you're stressing out now. Man, imagine having to go to work for the rest of your life, 6 a.m, every single day. Use that as a motivation for you. Use that as a motivation for you that you don't want to be that person and you want to be someone that breaks that bubble. You know what I mean? Like if you're watching this right now and you're sitting there and you're stressed about life and you're stressed about uni, you're stressed about HSC or whatever, I'm telling you, there's nothing more stressful than actually sitting there and being in a job you hate. So my advice to the young kids, and I've always wanted to tell them this, my advice to the young kids, listen to your heart. And if your parents are telling you something that you don't want to do, tell them, look, mum and dad, in all respect and in every single part of respect, with every ounce of respect, tell them, look, mum and dad, I appreciate that you want the best for me, but that's not what the best is for me. I want to do what I want to do because you're not going to sit there and be doing this job for the rest of your life. I'm going to be sitting here, waking up 6 a.m. every single day doing a job I don't like. Do you want that for me? If they say yes, they don't love you. If they say no, then do what you love, man. I don't care what it is. I don't give a fuck what it is.
That's what
If you want to be a gardener, if you want to be a carpenter, if you want to be an artist, if you want to be a dancer, do what you love. Do what you love. And at the end of the day, that's going to be the rest of your life.
Yeah, we had Billy Dib obviously last podcast. And a common thing within our community is, either doctor, engineer, or lawyer. That's the main 3 career options you get as an Arab in the area. Most
You know
of the
why?
times.
But that's the case.
Why?
Because us Arabs, I've broke it down. A lot of the reason why our parents say you have to be a doctor, you have to be an engineer, you have to be a lawyer, it's because we care a lot about what people think. A lot of what we base ourselves on and our self-worth is based on image. So image is a big thing. So if like your parent wants you to become a doctor or an engineer, I mean, they want a good life for you, but then no one ever tells you that that's not the only way to be successful, being a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. That is not the only 3 ways of being successful, but Arab and ethnic parents make you think that because they always want that image for you. They're always like, oh, what if your cousin, look at your cousin, look at what they're doing. Or what if they say this about you? Or what if your uncle says this about you? Or what if this person says, no, I want to do what I love, man.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean?
No, but that's what I think. A lot of reasons why we get dragged in the same spot is we're worrying about too much about what someone else thinks or trying to please others.
Yeah, literally.
Man, please yourself. That's the main thing. Please yourself.
Put yourself first, man. Put yourself
Yeah.
first. Like a lot of people
Don't
tend
do
to forget
something
that.
to please some other person that really is not spending their day thinking about you. Like,
A lot of people tend to forget that.
Yeah.
Do what you love.
yeah, that's the most
And
basic advice
that's
you
my
can
best piece of advice for anyone, man. Because
that's
what
what I
you
think.
love is what's gonna make you succeed. 100%. Like even making money, being successful, the best way to do it is doing something you love because you actually sit there and you want to get better at it. Like you try hard at it.
Like it could be as simple as like editing. I edit podcasts and I'm fine with it. I'm happy doing that. But you know, I spend my day sitting on another job, for most of the day. But do I enjoy that more than editing a podcast? No.
No.
Hell no. But
that's the
you
thing.
know what?
Like, I always say, man, I love this podcast. Man, imagine one day I can just do this for the rest of my life.
But yeah. I think you got to spend your off time. If you're working a 9 to 5, working a standard job, you have to spend your off time working towards getting out of that 9 to 5 job. Working towards getting out of that job. That's the main advice I can give. And
that's the best. But yeah, that's pretty much, man. I just wanted to give a bit of advice to the youth, to people that watch this podcast. Obviously, we're gonna get a lot of different guests now, from different backgrounds, different obviously mentalities, different cultures, religions, whatever. We're gonna bring them on the podcast, and we want to bring a different view to the podcast. Yeah. And I don't care if we're gonna lose viewers. You weren't a true viewer if you don't want to watch us for certain different types of guests. That means you're not a true viewer. That means you're not a true fan of the podcast and a supporter. Because if you're a supporter, you would support us in every single way possible.
Yeah.
So
we don't have fans. We have
stop
supporters,
asking me to bring fucking certain TikTokers on because by the looks of it, I don't think it'll happen. But if it does, it does. But anyway, I think that was a great podcast.
Wait, before we end off, what happened to your white toe fetish? Why
would you bring that up?
I just wanted to know before we cut off.
I don't know. Like, look, to be honest, I don't like. A lot of people thought I was weird. Like I put that clip was fucking ages ago. But that was one of our first podcasts.
Yeah.
I put out a clip of me saying, if you don't have white toes, then you should change it. But the thing is, I don't have a toe fetish. Like I don't sit there and weird. Like I want to do something with the toes. I don't want to do something with the toes.
Yeah.
I just think it looks nice. I just think
white
white
toes. I feel like it was a phase. It was a whole phase thing in the area. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, white toes, white toes, white toes."
It was a phase, but it's still there. Like I still like white toes. I'm not going to sit there and say, "Oh, the phase is over."
I don't know. For me, I can't work in my head getting attracted to toes.
No, but you're not getting it.
What?
It's not physically attracted to the toes. It's just the way they look. It's the beauty of it. It's an art.
Yeah, but it's still a toe.
White toes is an art.
Yeah, but it's still a toe.
Yeah, but it's an art.
You're still attracted to
it's
to a
an
toe.
art. It's an art. The way it looks, the way it just, like when the feet are tanned, bro. It's a different.
You know what's an art? NFTs. All right.
Fuck NFTs, bro. I'm trying to understand NFTs. I don't understand NFTs.
White toes. You're not gonna make money off looking at white toes. You're
bro,
gonna
girls have
money
OnlyFans for white toes. Min Allah.
Of looking at white toes, not selling white
looking,
toes.
yeah.
I'm saying looking at white toes.
Yeah, but by the act of
white
me
toes.
looking at white toes, people are making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. I'm
you're
not
paying-
subscribed to an OnlyFans with white toes.
Who's?
I'm not. I'm fucking not.
You're
I said it. I'm not. I'm fucking not.
Everyone's following those pages, man. There's white toes.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
I feel like it'll never die out for me. I just think because it's not something I'm physically attracted to. Like I don't like and sit there and go, I want to suck toes. There's guys that suck toes. Wallah, imagine a guy fucking sit there and sucking your toes. I don't know how the female will take it seriously. Imagine you, a female, sitting there and a guy sucking your toes and looking you in the eye.
I bet those.
That is the weirdest thing possible. I can't even imagine.
I bet those guys as well. They're the hardest cunts. And then
I
they'll go
bet
home.
they're the guys that sit there. They're the heavies. Brother, listen, hey, 350 a piece, and then fucking they're sitting there sucking toes.
Baby, give me a toes. It's gonna be a
How many
suck night.
How many guys suck girls' toes on Valentine's Day, bro? I reckon fucking heaps, bro. If you're sucking toes, bro, you're a fucking mu'rif. I'm just gonna say you're a mu'rif, bro.
You know,
Like I don't care how
toes
I'm
are
telling you. I'm telling you personally. If I see her scrubbing her toes, scrubbing them, bro, I'm fucking detailed, whatever, fucking scrubbing them with heads and shoulders and everything.
yeah.
I will not suck those toes. I will never suck toes.
Yeah, it's just it's used for stepping on things.
100%.
All right.
100%.
Why are you sucking that shit? Just don't do that.
Even like eating groceries. I don't want to say it. Fuck it. That's a bit too red hot. That's a bit too red hot on the
Eating
podcast.
groceries.
If you know what it means, you know what it means. If you don't, you
Yeah.
don't.
Are you alluding to a song or something? What did you mean?
No, don't worry about it. I think there's kids that watch this. I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
Anyway, fucking
It's about. Are we gonna wrap this up already?
I don't know,
just-
bro. I'm hungry. I'm fucking hungry. I'm starving. I want to go
I'm
eat.
thirsty as well. I forgot to bring the water. But
We
yeah.
didn't have water, no Powerade. Fucking, no wonder my voice is gone.
I know.
Anyway, fucking, this was a podcast, man.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to the Lebbie, like, share to your cousins. Hope you got something out of this podcast. If you learned something from this podcast or you got value, fucking comment below. Let us know. Let us know what you think. Let us know your comments. give us feedback. Tell us who you want to see on the podcast. And if one person tells me Monzo Yisra, I am fucking knocking you out. Left, right, center.
That's the first answer. It's bound to be.
I already
That's-
call it. Someone's going to comment it.
100%.
But anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe. We'll be back with a banger next week, obviously with a guest. We've got to do these one-offs here and there when it's just me and him, just because we feel like we want to talk shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, yalla, take care. Bye.